Let me briefly explain about psychometric test questions. And of course, we're specifically looking at personality tests, which is just one form of psychometric test, but it's the only one that People Maps absolutely specialises in. What you have here is the People Maps personality questionnaire. And if you're looking at some questions and trying to understand the questions that are being asked in a psychometric test, then let me explain a few things that you absolutely need to know. Now, you may be, let's presume you're a job seeker or an individual, and you might wonder what kind of questions do you get so that you can prepare those questions, so that you can prepare your answers. Now, this is quite natural. It comes from years and years of secondary and tertiary education, where much of your time is spent on past papers and what did they ask last year and the year before and what were the answers to those questions. So that's how essentially you're taught to study. It has little to do with our education, unfortunately, and it tends to really get in the road of us developing ourselves as humans. However, when it comes to personality, this is utterly irrelevant and utterly useless, and it's not the approach you need to take. So instead of thinking about what questions are likely to come up and how should you answer them, which is largely what you're encouraged to do in pretty much every other genre in the world, when it comes to personality test, that is of absolutely no use to you whatsoever. Um, what you need to do is actually understand your own personality and what that means to ensure that you're making the right decisions for you. Trying to swindle a questionnaire or trying to manipulate it in some way is extremely counterproductive. Now, that's a wee word out for all the individuals, particularly job seekers. Now, if you're an employer, then what you need to understand is that in the People Maps questionnaire, the questions themselves are designed to help the system understand the Jungian profile of the individual. We are looking for that very sensitive and delicate combination of various psyche energies that go together to make up each individual. So the questions are the same regardless of what your application is or what you're intending to do eventually with the outputs. So, and this tends to come as news to most people because naturally you would presume that the questions relate to what you're seeking in your scenario, your environment. But when it comes to personality, that is not how it works. So the personality questions are absolutely within their own realm and they're specific to the only there to try and discover the Jungian profile of the individual, completely in isolation from any intended application. When the application kicks in is once the system, the People Map system, has actually devised their Jungian profile, then the system lets you decide what it is you want to know about and explore further, and it then will give you that version of that. So again, that's something to understand, and you can see probably, well, you probably don't notice it at first hand, but the questionnaire itself, the Maps questionnaire, is extremely complex in its design. It looks pretty simple and it is very quick and it's very short, but it's actually a lot going on here. This is, for one, it's not a simple A-B test. The words all come in pairs. The nuance is really, really important. And it's not just the most and least yes and no answers that you're looking at here. It's the whole rating of all four statements that makes this a very sophisticated psychometric device.